Hi everyone, it's Charlotte here today and we're going to be doing a Q&A. I recently posted a video last week saying that I was planning to do a Q&A, so I needed your questions, and a lot of you left questions. I was actually quite amazed at how many people did leave questions, so I'm really excited to do this and answer most of your questions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer them all just because there were quite a few and I don't want this video to be too long, so I may end up doing more Q&As in the future. I'm sure I will, so there's another opportunity to ask me, but I will get on with the Q&A. I've got my iPad here so I can just scroll down the comments because I just thought that'd be easier. There are some comments that are very similar if not the same, so if your comment is answered, then sometimes it's great that it's multiple comments. So I'm not going to mention people's names just because there's different comments that are exactly the same, so I don't want to get lost and miss someone out accidentally. So anyway, I will get on with the questions and we shall begin. Okay, so here's a question, well, a couple of questions actually. It is, where did your pet journey begin? Did you have dream pets as a child? Did you get those? Do you still have dream pets you plan to get one day, or more of if you already have / had them? So I'm going to start, obviously, where did my pet journey begin? Well, it started when I was very young. I'm not entirely sure how old I was, but we were I was always like obsessed with animals. I was always into animals. My grandparents had dogs and cats and we didn't have any animals ourselves. My mum was always dubious about letting us have animals just because she knew how hard it was to lose them. She used to have a cat and she was really close to it, and unfortunately it did die, and it was really hard on her, so she didn't want us to have to go through that. However, I as a child was extremely into animals, and I wanted to be a vet, or I wanted to at least work with animals, and I always wanted to be around animals. So with my sister, she wasn't so bothered, but with me, I was like really loved animals, and I still do. I think when we got our first animals were a pair of mini lop rabbits. So they were called Mopsy and Flopsy, or Floppy, sorry. I will probably put a picture up if I can find one of both of them. But they were adorable and they were the tamest rabbits ever. They would let you hold them all the time. They would come to you for their names. We let them actually have the run of our garden, and they had a massive hutch at night. So they lived the life of Riley. It was a really good example of good pet care, that my mum made sure that we let them have enough space and everything like that. So that was always good, and their diet was always good. We had those, I'm trying to remember how old I was. I must have been around 6 or 7, or possibly younger. Yeah, I'm sure it was around that. But we had them, and that was the start of my pet journey. Did I have dream pets as a child? I did. I always wanted a dog. A dog was like the main thing that I always wanted. I loved rabbits and I loved other small animals, but I was more obsessed with getting a dog. Fortunately, my grandparents had dogs, and also my aunties and uncles had dogs, so I wasn't like not around them. And by having those around me, I grew up knowing how to treat a dog well, so I knew how to respect dogs, and I always wanted one. And the actual breed that I always wanted was, well, as a kid I always wanted a white fluffy dog, and technically I've got one of those because Button is a white fluffy dog. He's just sitting over there. He's a Maltese. But the dream breed that I really wanted was a white toy poodle. Now, my mum has technically got a toy poodle cross chihuahua, so technically I'm kind of around that, but he's not pure white, he's black and tan. You probably would have seen him, his name's Dylan, in other videos. But that is the dream dog that I wanted. It's slightly changed, really. My probably dream pet now is probably a Pomeranian or a Chihuahua. Love little dogs, and I just am obsessed with their little ears, and I just think they're a lovely little breed. Did I get those? So technically I've kind of answered that no, I didn't ever get a toy poodle in white anyway. And do you still have dream pets you plan to get one day? And I've answered that. Another question I've got here, I think a few of you have asked this, is what is your favourite thing about each of your guinea pigs, and what is the thing you find hardest about owning guinea pigs? So my favourite thing about each of them, so let's go through. We'll go Arabella. I have got a video also on this, why I love and have guinea pig, and also meet my guinea pigs, which goes into a bit more detail about the pigs, so again I'll leave that below. But what I love about them, Arabella, I just love how sassy she is. She's so bossy, and the other girls don't even bother trying with her because it would just cause mayhem if they did. So she's just got the most hilarious little face. She always looks grumpy, and I just love how bossy she is. Clara, I love how sweet she is. She's always up for having a fuss. She doesn't really run when I pick her up, and she's really sweet and very tame. Daphne, I'd say, there's a lot I love about Daphne. Daphne is a very peculiar little piggy. Just love how quirky she is. I also love the fact that she is such a beautiful little piggy, and it looks like a little white cloud, and everyone seems to love that as well, so it's really sweet. Someone said, I suffer from anxiety and chronic pain disorder. I was wondering, are guinea pigs relaxing pets? Now, if you've watched my previous videos, again why I love / have guinea pigs, there's a lot in that video apparently. I explained lightly that I do also suffer from anxiety and depression, and I also have a health problem, having arthritis in my ankle because I broke it many years ago and had to have surgery. So I've got a lot of things going on in that kind of way, mentally and physically, so I find the guinea pigs super relaxing. So they are great therapy for me, and I think that's also a big thing with a lot of animals. They are great therapy for people who have mental health issues or physical issues. It's absolutely lovely. With the guinea pigs, it's not like a dog where you'd have to keep going out and walking them, so it's really relaxing for me just to sit on my bed and watch them run all along the cage, and they are just really adorable little bundles. None of them particularly like having cuddles or anything, so I wouldn't say for those three anyway, they're not particularly like relaxing when you're holding them. However, Daphne's pretty good actually now, so maybe, I mean, I enjoy stroking them and everything, and that relaxes me, so I would say they're relaxing pets, yeah, definitely. Okay, I've got a few from the same person. So we've got, how old were you when you got your first pet? What is your favourite pizza topping? Would you ever consider getting rabbits? And have you ever had hamsters? So I'm going to go in order, obviously. So how old was I when I got my first pet? I was around 5 or 6, 7 when I got my bunnies. Number 2, what is your favourite pizza topping? I'm going to sound really boring, but I just love cheese and tomato pizza, like margherita. I'm not really a meat eater. It's not that I'm vegetarian or vegan or anything like that, it's just that I really don't particularly like the taste of meat and the texture. I have a weird thing about textures of food, it creeps me out, some of them, so I generally stick with cheese and tomato pizza. It was actually years ago, I never used to eat pizza because of the texture. As a child, it was too slimy for me. Now, years later, I've obviously tried it and I'm obsessed with pizza now, so it definitely changes. But I used to burn my pizzas so that they wouldn't be slimy when I first started eating them, which sounds ridiculous, but now I can have it really cheesy and it doesn't bother me. So I slowly integrated myself into the world of pizzas, but I missed out, I really did. But I just love cheese and tomato. If I'm feeling adventurous, I'll probably have like some bell peppers on there, like the guinea pigs love bell peppers as well. So yeah, I'll probably have that, and possibly red onion, but I'm not really a big fan of the big chunks of onion. They creep me out as well. Would you ever consider getting rabbits? Well, as I've said before, I did used to have rabbits, and I've also since had rabbits. So I definitely love rabbits. I think they're adorable. I think they're higher maintenance in regards to guinea pigs. I think rabbits need a lot of a much bigger space, and they need a lot more stimulation. I mean, obviously the guinea pigs need stimulation, but I feel that rabbits, if you didn't give them enough, they would start, really suffering. So for me now, unless like later on in life, I don't think I'd have rabbits in the near future anyway. I've had them and I like them as pets, but I much prefer, for me, guinea pigs. And have I ever had hamsters? I have. I've only ever had one hamster, and his name was Tussles. We got him just when my mum and dad split up and we'd moved into this house actually now. And yeah, I called him Tussles, and the reason I chose him was because he had the colourings of a German Shepherd dog, and at the time I was really obsessed with German Shepherd dogs. So he was adorable though. He was the tamest little guinea pig. He was the tamest little hamster, and I could take him out all the time, and he was just so, he never bit me once. He was so patient, and he was adorable. One time I actually accidentally left his cage door open, and he ran, well, I didn't realise for like a day when I got back home from school that he'd actually taken all of his like food and all of his little bedding and stuff, and he'd gone under my bed into like this little doll's house thing and made a home in this little doll's house. And it was just the cutest thing ever when I found out that, even though I'd let him out accidentally. So I didn't really mean to do that, obviously, but he was safe and he went to this little house and it was just adorable. But yeah, I would definitely consider getting more hamsters in the future. I think they're great little pets, and I would love to like give them a really nice house, and I definitely consider getting hamsters in the future, but maybe not for the next couple of years, I'd say. A few people have asked me this: if you could own any more guinea pigs, how many more would it be? I think if I had the funds and I had the time, I would own, I'd own a massive herd of guinea pigs if I could, and if they all got along. However, in reality, if I was going to get more guinea pigs, I think I'd have maximum 5, and I'd want them ideally to be in a herd as well. So that is probably the maximum I'd have. I think any more than that I couldn't cope. I mean, I have considered getting a 4th when we move, because I'll touch on this a bit later, but some people have asked about the cage, wanting to do something with the cage. So I was considering getting a 4th, but I just thought it's best not pushing it whilst these 3 girls are here, and I'm quite happy with the 3. So I probably, yeah, at most I would get 2. Have guinea pigs influenced you or changed you and your life in any way? Have they changed your personal characteristics? Guinea pigs, I think, have definitely influenced my life and changed it in many different ways. They've made me much more responsible. They've made me so much, they've given me like something to look forward to, something to get up for, because obviously I've touched on that I have depression, that it's something to do and it takes my mind off other things, and I can just sit here and watch them, and they have definitely influenced my life. They've definitely changed it for the better. I mean, some people probably say I'm obsessed with guinea pigs, which is probably true in ways, but they have definitely improved it from when I was at my lowest. They changed my personal characteristics. I think they've made me a lot more patient and a lot more, I think that's probably it. They've made me a lot more patient, yeah. And a lot more selfless as well. I think that I've thought of them instead of me. I worry about them first than me. So probably those 2, I'd say. What is your Piggies' favourite chew toy, and what do you suggest for chews? My guinea pig's favourite chew toys probably overall are Willow, and I think that's the case for a lot of other guinea pig owners. I think I've heard that. But other than Willow, they love just wooden toys, so like kiln dried pine wooden toys. So I get them from Pets Play, and I'll again leave the link down in the description. But Dorothy from Pets Play, she makes the most amazing little toys. They're so cute, but they're also really pet safe. They are painted and they're wooden, and the girls absolutely adore them. And if you've watched any of my cage tours, you probably have seen quite a lot of them and how many chew marks are on them. So their definite favourites are wooden toys. Do your guinea pigs get along all the time? My guinea pigs get along sometimes, and then other times they don't want to see each other at all. What do you do / if and when they don't get along? My guinea pigs do get along generally all of the time. They have tiffs, and that is completely normal for your guinea pigs to like have the dominance kind of behaviours and everything, and also just have like little like tiffs at each other, really, like just minor arguments with them. And you can probably hear one now actually. One's, I think, Daphne's squeaking at Clara to leave her alone. That is completely normal. So it's just when it gets to the fact where it's really stressing out your other pigs if they're not getting along, and there's biting and there's blood drawn, that's when you've got to separate, sadly. it's not going to work, or you're going to have to do more bonding sessions with them over time. But so yeah, you may sadly have to get them another friend to live with, which is obviously not what anyone wants to do, but I think it's the best in that kind of situation. Someone's asked any other small furries beside Piggies, and no, I don't. I don't have any other animals other than Button, the Maltese dog, other than the guinea pigs. Are you happy with your cage? Now, some people have also asked a similar question. Now, I am relatively happy with their cage. I think there's always room for improvement when looking at your guinea pig's care, or even your other animals. So I am hoping once we move, with fingers crossed it all goes well, we're hopefully moving in the next couple of months. In the new house, my new room is going to be a lot larger. So fortunately, I should have the space to expand their cage, and you will see videos of this. So as long as it goes all right and everything, but I definitely want to expand their cage. So I would say I'm happy with their cage. Their cage is a really good size. It's 2x6 CNC grid cage, and I really do like it and everything, but I think there are improvements that could be done to it, and I'm definitely going to implement some of those that I think I can do with also my mum's boyfriend's help, because he will be the one that making them. But he's quite happy to be making them an extension, and also some other little bits that are going to be slightly different. So I'm excited to show you all of that and everything like that. So I am happy with it, but not completely. Do your guinea pigs go outside, and do they have floor time? My guinea pigs do not go outside. At the moment here, we don't have a garden. We just have a balcony, because it's like a actual house on stilts, I like to call it. It's above a shop, so it's 2 stories. It's like a house, but it's just above a shop. So we don't have a garden, and when we're going to the new house, we will have a garden, as long as, again, all goes all right. I don't want to jinx it. There will be a garden, but I'm still dubious about getting a run for them, because they've not really experienced being on grass ever. Like, I don't think all 3 of them have ever been on grass, and also in the outside. So I'm a bit dubious. I'm not sure if I want to do it, but also there's a lot of like kind of diseases and stuff like that that is passed off in grass. There's a lot of insects that carry certain like worms and stuff like that, so I'm really not sure if I want to do that. I mean, I probably won't. I don't think I will. I'm leaning towards not risking it, just because they're happy enough inside. The floor time, they get floor time. I try to do it at least 2 or 3 times a week, just because otherwise it's quite difficult every single day. But their cage is plenty big enough for them to run and, you know, play, so it's not so bad. But I do try to give them floor time about 2 or 3 times a week. In your opinion, what is the best and worst thing about owning guinea pigs? The best thing about guinea pigs is just watching them. I adore watching them and watching them run and play and interact with each other. That is my favourite thing to do, and I absolutely adore seeing them happy and doing their popcorns and zoomies, and that just makes me smile, makes it all worth it, all the hard effort that goes into caring for them. The worst thing about owning guinea pigs, I don't know if there's specifically one thing. I don't know. It's a very hard question, that, because there's not something bad about owning them specifically. It's more so about the, like, you know, the amount of care that has to go into their bedding and things like that. That's probably the worst bit. But then in turn, when I do their beddings and like clean it out and everything, they get so happy afterwards. It's so worth it. But that's probably the worst thing, is cleaning up every single day. But you're going to have to do that with any animal, so it's very difficult. There's not really a particularly worst thing about guinea pigs, for me anyway. Ooh, Carrie has asked, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? I think it would probably be fly. Yeah, I know that seems like a really generic one, but because of my ankle, I always struggle with how far I can walk. So if I could fly, I could go to all these places that I thought I couldn't before, and yeah, that's probably what I would do. And then I could still enjoy days out with people and not worry about my ankle and how long it's gonna last, like how long it's gonna start hurting for. Yeah, definitely fly. If you could be one of your pets for a day, which one would you be and why? I think I probably would actually be one of the guinea pigs. That sounds really weird, but yeah, over Button, or we also have a cat, Bobo. Yeah, I think I'd definitely be the guinea pigs, just because they get to eat all day, they get to sleep, and they get to play, and they get to eat all day. Whereas the other animals, they're restricted in what they eat. So if I was the guinea pigs, I could eat all day. And I'd also really like to experience what it's like for them when I'm looking after them, like what they think. So that'd be quite cool to see. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. What is your favourite breed of guinea pig? My favourite breed, it's a toss-up between, you're probably gonna all know that it's gonna be one of the long-haired breeds. It's probably a toss-up between the Peruvian and the Lung Carrier. I think overall winning is probably the Lung Carrier. However, it requires so much work, grows so quickly, so that is a downside. However, I just love the appearance of it, so I think definitely Lung Carrier. I thought this was a really good question. What would you do in a fire with the guinea pigs? This is something that I don't think many people think about, or if they do, they think of it lightly. Fortunately, I've never experienced having like our house on fire or anything, thank God. But I would immediately go and grab them, put them in their carrier and swipe them out. Now, we've already spoken about this with me and my family. Sounds a bit weird, but we've already spoken about it, who would grab who. So we've already decided that my mum and Phil, my mum's boyfriend, would grab the dogs, and my mum would grab the cat and put him in a carrier, and I would grab the guinea pigs. So we've already spoken about this, and I think it's a really important thing to think about. So definitely plan what you're going to do with your guinea pigs or your other small animals if there was a fire. Someone's asked, where did I get my cage from? Now, if you've been watching for a while, you'll know that it is a DIY handmade cage. So I have got a video on that, and again, I'll leave that down below. But that explains where I got all the bits from and how we kind of made it. So I got it from myself, basically. What made me start a YouTube channel? I think I'd been on Instagram for a while, and I've previously run a blog, which was a fashion blog, so it was completely different. I had kind of past experience with things like that, and I had previously done YouTube videos for my blog, but people always used to say to me that I'd probably be better off doing YouTube because I'm quite a chatty little person, and I think I don't know, I find it easier to express myself instead of having to write it all down instead. When I started the channel, which was probably about 6 or 7 months ago now, I think at most. When I started the channel, I only recently just got Daphne, so she was the newer addition to Clara and Arabella. So I'd already had Clara and Arabella over a year, and recently got Daphne, and I'd just been kind of like watching more and more guinea pig videos. I'd also been experimenting more with their cage and cage themes, because I'd recently, at the time, had just got a CNC cage, and I thought it was the perfect time to kind of start making videos, and also to have videos of Daphne when she was younger and things like that. So that's kind of why I started. I wanted to also like share my experiences with guinea pigs, and also put a bit more of the better care out there, because I think there are videos out there that aren't the best care, and people kind of like just believe that, and then they don't really realise what's good. So yeah. Okay, so I think that's as many questions as I'm going to be able to answer today, sadly. I'm probably going to film just straight after this, do a part 2, just because there's so many questions, and I'm going to try my best to answer most of them. Thank you so much for your questions, and I shall speak to my next one. I will definitely do more of these in the future, so don't worry. So thank you again, and I shall speak to you in my next one. Bye!